Before we start, I want to say this. If you're a beauty professional or service-based business owner who's doing all the right things, but still feels like your income depends on how much you physically show up and how many hours you can squeeze into your schedule, I built my new program for you. Limitless is for the woman who wants to earn more without adding more hours, who needs clearer strategy and the energy and identity shifts that actually move the needle in your business. It is a space where you're not doing this alone and where you can ask me questions anytime. I work super closely with you inside this container alongside a like-minded community of business owners who are serious about their growth as well, but also about life. So if you're ready to grow and want support doing it properly, book a call with me. The link is in the show notes for you. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, you gorgeous human you, and welcome back to another episode. Today I am joined by my gorgeous friend Chantel from Clawgasmic. She is an incredible nail tech. She has her own online membership, Clawgasmic. She also hosts the Clawgasmic Nail Tech Talks podcast, and she has some amazing accredited courses out there for nail techs as well. And today we spoke about working with brands. I think it's a really important conversation to have. It's a question that I get asked a lot by different people in the industry, and Chantel has amazing first-hand experience of this, and I know you guys are going to love hearing her stance and her experience of all of these things. So I really hope that you love this episode. All the details that you need to know about Shan, if you don't know her already, are all in the description below. And if you do love it, please take a screenshot and pop it on your stories and tag us both. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. So, Shan, first of all, welcome back to the pod. I'm so excited that you came on this episode with me. Thank you so much for saying yes again. For the listeners, Chantel has been on the podcast before, so you can check that out. I'm going to link everything to the previous episode that we did and everything Shan in the description. Should we do a quick introduction just for people that don't know you? Do you want to say a little bit about what you do before I get into my questions?
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me back again. I love all you do. I love speaking. I love speaking with you. I just love talking with you. Aside of, obviously, it's great that we do this podcast and people get to listen to our conversations, but I love just talking to you, and yeah, I just love you, and I'm so excited to be here. So thank you for having me back again. It's an honor. My name is Chantel. You can call me Shan. I am a nail tech educator, and yeah, I love the nail world. I've been a nail tech for 20 years. I was employed for 7, had my own salon or business for 7 years, then did 6 seasons at London Fashion Week alongside that, and then left my salon to have my beautiful little boy. Then COVID happened, and then me and my lovely husband decided to take Clawgasmic online, and it just, yeah, really lucky. It kind of grew from there, and we've got a membership, we've got a podcast, and we do fully accredited training as well. So beginner training, builder gel training, and hard gel training.
Yes, the hard gel training, which I am doing, is phenomenal. Let me just tell you. Thank you so much. I love you too. I love everything that you do, everything you stand for. And I was listening to somebody on your pod the other day, and they were just telling you as well how you're just a light in this industry, which is what I always tell people. And I just think it's so important that we have Shan always. For this episode, what I really wanted to talk to you about was brands, because as somebody online who works with a lot of different brands and who does content creation for brands, I think you're one of the people that people want to hear from about what it's like to work with different brands and things. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, how did you get your first sort of collaboration brand, partnership, shall we say? And, how did you get that in the bag, and how did it go?
So thank you, first of all, because I really appreciate that. I feel like you might agree with this, that every part of my business is like a layer and a new part of my business. It's like loads of different businesses within the business. So I don't sort of see the content creation side as something that I was like, this is gonna do this to do this or whatever. It was just something that I saw people doing it online and I was like, I love it. I really love that beautiful part of social media where you see people creating looks and getting creative. And, there's so many phenomenal, phenomenal people out there now who are doing it. Like three that stick to my mind are obviously you've got Anushka Anastasia, who is like the goat. She is just
Epitome, honestly.
mind-blowingly amazing. And I love what she creates. And I feel like she's so, so smart and so ahead of her game in a sense of she's creating content not just for nail brands, but for brands, period, and doing these incredible nail creations. Like I will stop anything when her video comes up and I will watch the whole thing,
Yeah.
probably multiple times. Like I could be mid-dinner and I'll be like, hold up, spoon's going down. Let's watch this whole thing. She's unreal. Then you've got the incredible Zoya Mack, who I feel like came in strong and like changed content creation as we knew it. Just beautiful cinematic kind of images and stuff. And then the lovely Laura from the Nail Editions. I love her work as well. Just again, all three of these wonderful women have really stomped their authority in their own way. You can tell that their content is their content. They've got their own signature look on that content, their own signature way of doing it. And I just really liked the idea of getting into content and working with brands to showcase different things, especially things that I love to use and love to
Mm.
create. I mean, I don't put myself anywhere on the level of those three women. They are like my Wonder Women in the content creation world. They're massively ahead of the game. But I just wanted to try it. And I was like, this is like fun. I want to do this. And I loved a lot of the American content creators that I saw who were doing it like you were sat in the room with them. So they'd
Mm.
have like a laptop in the background, a candle, and it's like they were doing their nails and you were doing their nails with them and you were sat with them watching them do their nails and then they were creating all of this and it kind of went hand in hand at the time with a lot of the tutorial looks that I was doing for the network. So I was like,
Mm.
oh great, I can kind of like use these as tutorials as well, give more in depth and more value for the members in those like longer form videos, but I can chop them up and edit them up small and create content for brands or for online. So I would say maybe it was last year or the year before, so not like ages ago, that I was like, I want to do content and I want to do content for this brand. And I'm going to reach out to them and I'm going to say, have you got any space for me? And
I
they
love it.
replied and said, no. And I was like, cool, not a problem, because that's absolutely fine. I totally understand that's business. Do you know what I mean? Not everybody's going to have things and I think that's really important to highlight as well. Shoot your shot, reach out, and if someone says no, don't take it personally. It's
Yeah.
business. People might be busy at that time. Don't internalize it as you're not good enough or da 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 da. Keep working, keep grinding. So it must have been about 3 months later. I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to create content with this brand's products anyway. And I'm just going to post it anyway because I can use this content for my network and I can use this content for my content to keep me consistent online. But I will also personally send it to the brand and say, here's a little video I made for you. You can use it if you want. Don't have to. But if you want to, you can.
I
Because then
love
I can
it.
showcase what I can do and I can prove to them that I can do it and I can show them my style and I can show them my setup and I can show them my skills.
Hmm.
And they were just like, oh, thank you. Cool. And then it must have been a couple of months after that. That's when I got my first proper paid gig from them. And they reached out to me and they were like, we've now got space. Would you like to do some content for us? Boom. And I was like, yes, booyah, it worked. This is amazing.
I love that for you. Oh, and you know what? Thank you so much. I wrote down reach out because that is the name of the game. And people are scared to do that, but it pays off. And you did it anyway. You are just such great advice as always. Thank you so much. So then I suppose the rest is history. Now, I think at the moment I've seen a lot of this actually, content flying around from creators, from nail techs and other beauty professionals that says we are expected to make this content for free for brands in receipt of goods, like in receipt of product. Now, obviously, I love this topic because I think everyone should be paid greatly for what they do. But I do understand, like you just said, you sent them that for free. It paid off.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this type of thing at the moment flying around? Is it a big deal?
I think it's such a blanket statement and it's
Mm,
so individual to each individual person. I think it all depends on your goal and what you want to do. I think back to the beginning of my career. If I was a brand new nail tech now and a brand wanted to send me something for free, I would be like, oh my gosh, yes, please, that's amazing. Like,
yeah.
thank you so much. And what could that relationship evolve into? But equally, if you are somebody who has been creating content for a while, has really, like how we talk about with nail techs, invested in your craft, you are just off the top of my head, I'm talking like, say you're a
Mhm.
UGC creator. So with a UGC creator, it's not necessarily about your following, it's about your passion of wanting to create that content for that brand, and you are taking that as a business avenue. I think there's always room for showcasing what you can do, kind of like what I did. I think if you want to build that, I think building a long-term relationship can actually be super, super beneficial. So
Mhm.
if you do want to do that for a little bit to get noticed and showcase your skills, I don't see there's anything wrong with that, but you obviously have to have that boundary there that you're not then feeling like you're being taken advantage of. And equally, if you are someone who has an incredible portfolio and you are doing this, as your job, you know, the three greats that I just spoke about, for example, that's their job. They
Yeah.
put time and effort and passion and money and everything into getting to where they've got to. This is their business and they absolutely should be treated so. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think it's,
Absolutely. Yeah.
that little
Yeah.
sweet spot in the middle, I think.
Yeah, it is. And I think, like where you just said it's a blanket statement, I think you're so right because that is someone's truth of what's happening out there for them. But
Yeah.
actually, I'm so glad you touched on UGC because, I've created content for brands that I've been paid for, but no one's ever seen it on my grid. And that's
Yeah.
what you don't understand. Like, UGC is a business, it's completely separate.
Yeah.
Whereas if a brand is sending you product because it complements your work and
Mhm.
compliments for them as well, that's different. It's like a mutual thing. And
Yeah.
I think sometimes that is expected of, it is free, but then what people probably don't realize is that there is a budget in that business as well, and they're probably using UGC creators completely separately. There's two sides of the business. There's
100%.
the free stuff and then there's the UGC stuff, and I think that's where it gets confused, isn't it?
Definitely. And I think as well, we've got to kind of give respect to brands too, that they are also businesses. I
Yeah.
do feel like sometimes, you know, I'm always so grateful for when people send me things for free
Yeah.
because they don't have to do that either. Do you know what I mean? So I think it all depends on what you want and what you're doing and where you are in your career. And like we've always spoken about, which I think we're both so passionate about, staying true to the brand that you are creating for yourself. If that works for you and your brand at that stage of where you are,
Mm.
wicked. If you want to build and grow as a UGC creator, it's on your vision board that next year this is going to be a strong, powerful source of income for you. You need to have your boundary set of what you want to do and how you want it to do. But equally, I do think there is that element of flexibility. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it should be so rigid. Even with, nail techs, and I talk to them, I think it's great. And we absolutely should have our boundaries and we absolutely should be charging our worth. And people should absolutely have a cap on, however many offers they want to do at the beginning or whatever. But equally, let's just say at the beginning, you're like, do you know what? This month, I want to bash out loads of content to build and grow my profile. And
Mm.
I'm going to ask four of my friends to come in and I'm just going to do their nails all day for free.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Does it work for your brand at that time? I think that's kind of what you need to focus on as opposed to having a very set, this is a no and this is a yes.
Mm. Yeah, you've literally just answered my next question. I was
Oh,
going to
no,
say,
sorry.
no, you're fine. This is great. It's great. It's what we're here for. I was going to say, what would you say to someone who doesn't really know whether to do this or not? Because I was speaking to somebody the other week in my membership about it. She's saying, do I keep doing this? Like it's sort of free work. I'm getting product. And I was like, what's the end goal? What is, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what you've just described. So, and do you think one question I will ask as well is, do you think can there be a yes or no answer to this? Do you think it helps you further down the line if you do start accepting those things?
Um, again, I think it all depends on really thinking about what you want for your brand. I think as
Yeah.
well with me and Clawgasmic and where I am, I'll be honest with you, and we can go into it a little bit more. I know there's some more sort of questions on
Yeah.
this, but I do turn down some free giftings and I do turn down some paid opportunity if I don't feel it truly aligns with me and Clawgasmic and what it's going to be. Like I said, we can go into that more before I answer
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
7 as well. But yeah, I think it can be really, really beneficial to just build those relationships with brands, especially if you love those brands and you love what they do and you love what they
Yeah.
create.
Yeah.
Um, I think as well, you know, content creation, people who do that as their full-time job it's such a craft, it's such a skill. Um, it's definitely something that should be given its due as such. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It isn't like a side little thing you can do at the same time. It's a really incredible skill so
Yeah.
that these people have. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Is giving full-time gig. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
it's, it's a serious thing. And do you know what? From your experience, I was going to say, what do you think, or what do beauty and nail brands, from your experience, what do they value the most? Because obviously, I love that you want to keep everything aligned to you guys, but what do they sort of value the most when you're collaborating with them? Is it like the skill? Is it the engagement? What's your experience been of what they really value?
I think again, it all depends on where you want to take it. I think for us, I've only really dabbled with the UGC content more this year,
Mm.
as opposed to like the year before, it was more like real paying me to post on my profile and all that sort of stuff. And that comes with its own, you know, pressures, because your audience that you cultivate online, they get to know you and they like what you post. So, for example, now my best posts are educational posts if I'm giving advice about build gel application or prep or hard gel or a nail art tutorial, because that's the thing that I've been long standing in the longest. So, for example, Fresher asked me to do a paid collaboration with them. And at the time, it was probably one of the most I'd been offered for a post. And I was like, amazing. But then I instantly thought, but that's so far from what my audience are used to seeing. This is
Yeah.
this post is going to feel very much like a quote unquote ad.
Mm.
Join Fresher for da 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 da. That you're then like, is this actually going to perform like they actually want it to perform, like they see my other videos perform? But my other videos perform that way because I know what my audience like.
Mm.
And just because a brand sees that you've got this interaction is because you've got that connection with your audience and your followers. And it's like a mutual agreement.
Yeah.
You create this, they like this, they get this out of this, you like creating this, and it's a two-way street. Then when you chuck in a hey, come and check out, sometimes it doesn't do as well. And then
Mm.
you're like, oh my God, that brand's just paid me for this. And now I'm like stressing because it's not actually performing like they wish to. And then if
Wow.
you kind of create it in a way of that you've done before, but is that what the brand necessarily want? Do you know what I mean? It's trying to find that sweet spot that your audience is going to enjoy, but that the brand's appreciative of. So
Hmm.
that has been really tricky. The UGC content I've really, really enjoyed this year.
Yeah.
I've loved doing that. Um,
Did you do the fresher ad?
yeah, I
Oh, you
did.
did. See, it must have gone well because it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb to me.
It didn't do terribly, but it didn't do what I was used to at the time, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah.
So, it's all of that as well, I think, that kind of comes into it. I think for me, I am really mindful of who I work with, especially when it comes to like nail brands. I want it to be authentic. I want to make sure I'm working with brands that I genuinely use, genuinely like.
Mm.
If I'm trying something for the first time, I'll say like, I'm trying this, like it's my first time. So you've always got that authentic connection with your audience. Obviously with UGC, for anybody who doesn't know what UGC is, I know I
Mm.
keep saying this acronym, it's user generated content. So it's then not necessarily for you to post on yours, but it's for you literally to create that video for that brand. And then that brand can use that in an ad, they can use that on their Facebook, they can use it on their Instagram, they can use it wherever they want. But you've basically created a video for them to have access to. It's not, they're not so bothered about the posting. on your side, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's not about it going onto your feed, is it? It's more just for them to have a library, I guess, of content
Mhm.
for their campaigns.
Brilliant.
Um, so, what are the biggest challenges? I mean, you've just touched on some of them there. Um, are there any other bigger challenges that you faced, and how have you overcome them when it comes to partnerships?
Um, I wouldn't say not really. Now, like I said, I think I know like what I really like to create, and a lot of the brands that people will see me work with often, I feel like we have just such a great relationship, and I love that they're like, yeah, do what you want to do, or pick what
Mm,
colors you want, or create, and they allow me to have that creativity too, which I really appreciate and I really enjoy. And they're all products and brands that I love.
yeah.
Um, I would say not necessarily a challenge, but kind of touching on what we were touching on before. It's something that I am super mindful of, probably overly mindful of. Sometimes I think of people actually that
That's a
bothered.
Chantel problem. That is
I
you very,
really, yeah,
you really
like
care what people think, babe.
really care. Yeah,
You
but
really do.
I do. Or I think, oh, is it really truly aligned? Like now we're in
Yeah.
education, it doesn't feel ethical to accept work with like at home gel kits, for example,
Yes. Yeah. I love
that
this about
I'm
you. So
that I'm
authentic.
like, oh, okay, that's a lovely offer. That's a nice, really nice offer. But does that impact my business? Like we were talking about my actual
Mm.
brand, my actual business. If I'm then like, guys, I can get you fully accredited. And in all my courses, I'm talking about allergies and applying it properly and doing all of this and making sure we investing in professional products and using the correct lamp. And then I'm like, nip down to Superdrug and grab yourself a I don't know if that's quite on brand for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something I really love about you. I think you've covered it all really. It's like the challenge is the alignment, isn't it? It's staying true to who you are. We've already spoken about how you do that, and I just think you hit the nail on the head. Really, I love it.
Yeah. That's probably the only thing that's it's not a challenge, but I am super mindful of. And
Yeah,
yeah, like I think sometimes, I probably shoot myself in the foot sometimes potentially where a brand's reached out to me and said, we'd like you to create some content. We stock this range of brands. Are you happy to use all of those brands? And I'm like, sorry,
yeah,
no. And
yeah.
then obviously it doesn't come into anything. But equally, at least I'm staying true to what Clawgasmic is and what that stands for.
Yes. Oh, I love it so much. It gives people the confidence to do the same thing, doesn't it? You know,
Mhm.
like, and you know, you hear some people say you've got to learn to say no because
Mm.
if you, and also from like a standpoint of it's okay to say no and it'll open up other things and actually deep down in your core be happy with that rather than saying no out of fear and like being really scared about it. So anyone listening, just take note because you know it gives you that sort of rite of passage. Like I can do this too. So I really love that. How would you say? I know you mentioned at the beginning actually that you see this as like the separate part of the business, you know, because you've got different sort of like parts. How have the brand collaborations contributed, would you say, to Clawgasmic's growth in terms of audience growth, business growth?
Um, Obviously, it's a lovely other stream.
Yeah.
And I would say definitely brand awareness. If people are I got a comment the other day on TikTok and it made me laugh. And it was, I did a talking video and it was like, oh my gosh. And I feel like I put my face out there quite a lot, but obviously not enough. And they said, I feel like this is the first time I'm properly seeing your face and you talk. I'm so used to seeing your thumb. I know your thumb anyway. And I was like, that's so funny.
I know your thumb actually. It's so funny they say that. I know your hand.
People will be like, "Oh, that's Shan's thumb." Like,
Yeah.
okay. So I think it's been good for brand awareness, I guess. Obviously, collaborating with different brands, especially if it is like a collaborated post, so you're being seen on their
Yeah.
page and then their audience is seeing you. I guess that's really good for hopefully people finding out who you are. And yeah, I'd say on a personal note, a really nice just creative outlet for me. I love
Mm.
it. I love working on like the lightings and the space and what it looks like. And like I said, a lot of the brands that I work with now, even like classic gel polish brands that I've loved working with this year. Essie, for example, incredible. Just, like, yeah, these are the colors, go for it, and I love that because actually that's probably something that I miss about doing clients. I'm
Mm.
grateful that Clawgasmic took off online and now I can do all this online stuff and education. But that whole someone coming in and going, oh, I'm feeling like red and a bit of gold, and me being like, leave it with me.
Yeah.
I didn't have that for a long time. So with content creation, it's really given me that back, which is really, really nice. I love creating that and sitting quietly in my space, in my office, or sometimes I'll go to the bedroom because the light's really beautiful there, and I
Mm.
can just have some music on and I'll just literally be in the zone, proper ikigai moment. My brain's switched off. I'm just creating. So on a personal level, it's definitely given me a little bit of like calm and creativity this year. So that's been really nice.
That's so nice. I have two things that come to mind when you mention this. First and foremost, Essie. When I see your videos, I'm like, how does she do this with normal nail polish? How
Thank
on earth you and obviously the likes of Rebecca Pritchard make stunning designs with just nail polish? I've got no idea. And hats off to you, woman. Honestly,
you. Do you
there's
know
what the heck?
I will be totally transparent with you as always. The Halloween ones that I did this year, which was like a deep red tip, and then we did like a double French with a black and little black stars. That took me all day.
Did it?
All day long. This is what I mean about like, people would
This,
see like the video. It took
yeah,
me all day because I was like, every time, because I was trying to get into the light. But obviously, if you think the natural light, every time the natural light's on the brush, it's drying that nail polish even quicker than it would.
agreed.
No, and the Essie polishes they're so pigmented and beautiful
Yeah,
to
yeah.
so that was helpful.
Mm.
Definitely helpful. But yeah, I was like, no, it's not quite right. And obviously with the gel, sometimes you can kind of, if you've cured the underneath, you can wipe it off, but it's so much harder with a
Yeah,
polish. Wipe off the black detail that's on top of the neutral pink. You've got to take the whole thing off and do it again. So I think I started at like 11 because I was like, oh, the sun's beaming through, so beautiful in the bedroom. I'm going to start it now. And I didn't finish till like 6 because I just kept I kept doing it and then taking it off. I did have breaks in between, but
yeah.
I was like, it took me a long time to get that nail art done. But again, I enjoyed it. It was like a challenge, which again, I
Mm.
think like itch is a really beautiful part of my brain that isn't often itched in a
Yeah,
creative way. So I quite like that challenge of being like, And I'm a determined little thing. Do you know
of
what I mean? I'm a
course.
stubborn
Yeah,
little thing as well. So I'm like,
yeah.
we'll do this.
You do make me laugh. What made me laugh as well was my next question that I wrote down was, how on earth are you fitting all of this in? And then you tell me you're there till from 11 till 6. I'm like, right, okay. We mark out a whole day for this. So, in all honesty, though, how on earth are you fitting this in? Like, I know you've got your podcast that you record. You've got things like this where you come on with me. You've got your courses. You've got members. You've got the membership that you have to record for. You've got content. I mean, do you have more hours in the day than everybody else? Because I need to know what's going on.
I appreciate this compliment. I'm going to take it as a compliment because
Yeah.
I definitely don't always feel like I've got my SHIT together, I tell you. I
Mm.
had someone on the podcast the other day, and bless her, she was like, I can't remember how it ended, but I was like, oh, I'll get this edited over the week and then I'll send it over to you the weekend before if you want to have like a preview of it. And she was like, you edit it? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, so you record it and you edit it and then you put it up and then you do your thing and then you do this. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, how? And I was like, I just bite-sized chunks. I'll do like a little bit each day. And some days I'm overwhelmed and some days I'm not. And some days I'm up too late and some days I'm not. And I think it's just a bit like that. It's not lost on me. I'm very grateful that I get to work this around homeschooling Kingsley,
Yeah.
being at home. I just think the gratitude dial is switched up. So, if I do have to work a couple of late nights, if I am quickly editing a podcast on a Sunday, I'm like, I'm grateful that I get to do it, and I get to
Yeah.
do it all. Some days it is a lot, and some days and again, I guess in a way, that's kind of why I like the content creation side of things, especially because I think with Essie as well, that's been something that I've really enjoyed this year. I'm super, super grateful for that.
Mm.
Um, and it kind of took me right back to the beginning because that is how my love affair with nails first began, was with nail polish.
Mm.
My blog when I did that years ago was me doing nail art with nail polish. it's really nostalgic and lovely for me, the smell, the everything. So if I've got to sit up late at night and do that, that's actually a bit of a treat. Like I'll get a little snack and I'll put a little something on in the background. I've got Emily in Paris going on in the background, and I'm literally living my best life.
Yeah.
So
This is
yeah.
your downtime. It's so
Yeah.
nice. Oh, I love this so much. Um, what I was going to ask you, and this is one that I think listeners will really want to know. Um, so for nail techs or any beauty pros that want to partner with a brand, what three pieces of advice can you give them about making their proposals appealing for relationship building?
Okay, so first and foremost, which is something that I haven't even touched on in this, which is probably actually a little bit criminal, make sure your content's where it needs to be at.
Yes.
Make
Yeah.
sure your application's good, your nails are prepped nice, your skin's not, dry and crusty around the cuticle,
Mm,
that if you do want to create some pieces to showcase what you can do to a brand, use that brand. So, you know, show them what you can do with their stuff. Make sure it goes all the way back to the beginning, your education, make sure everything is on point, that put yourself in the shoes of the brand. What do they want to see? They want to see nice, crisp, clean work. They want to see nice lighting. They want to see you really focusing in on that brand. They don't, it might sound like not what people want to hear, but it's the truth. A brand wants to see you use their whole brand. They don't
yeah.
want you using all these other things. Use that brand from the base to the colors to the top to the oil if they have some. Be, use
Yeah.
everything from them. And I think as well, it's like I've had this conversation with a couple of people in DM lately, like with online stuff, and when you're reaching out to people, whether it's via email, whether it's online, you might have even had, I bet you probably have as well.
Mm,
Um, Remember there's a human behind there.
mm,
So not just like, don't just message and be like, can I get free stuff? I want to create content. It's not, they're not, don't talk to people like that. You wouldn't talk to someone like that in the street. Don't do that. Just
yeah.
be like a human, an
Yeah.
actual human. Like, don't be AI, be human. Like,
Mm.
if you
Oh, that's
work with
another
that
thing.
brand, pardon?
It just made me think, yeah, that's another thing. Like
Yeah.
being AI. I can imagine, I don't want to cut you up at all, but I can imagine a
Mm.
lot of people using AI to do this as well, to reach out.
Yeah,
And that's,
don't like no,
yeah,
be authentic. Like, I feel like I've said
yeah,
this a million times, but be authentic. Use brands that you genuinely love and like. If it's a brand that you don't currently love or
mm,
use yet, buy some of their stuff and try it and see if you like it and then get into it and use it. Obviously, with UGC, this is a totally different conversation because they're not trying to, that's a whole different business. But I'm
mm,
saying if you are a nail tech and you're trying to like add it into your business and, do that, if they're going to go to your profile and see what you use, it's nice if they can see that you actually use their stuff and you do really like what they do.
mm,
Obviously, with UGC, like I said, that it's a different kind of world. It's not you're being paid for your creation and your beautiful magical mind of creating that content regardless of what that is.
mm,
Obviously, I'm sure you'd still have your things that you wouldn't want to do and you would want to do, and that's fine. But I do think it's very different if you're a nail tech who's thinking, I want to start working with that brand, say, for example.
yeah,
Make it authentic. Make sure hi, I would love to. I've been using this for a while. I really, really like it. Is there any way? You'll get an answer either way. And if not, then, create some content, try and get yourself noticed, reach out there, but make sure your content's good, crisp, clean. I film everything on my phone.
mm,
Um, I use, the classic IKEA light, and I've got a
yeah,
ring light and natural light's really, really good. But yeah, I would just say I think we could eject some of that in all ways across the industry when it comes to communicating with people in general.
yeah.
Just a hiya, hey at the beginning. Don't just jump straight into the, oi, give me this.
Oi.
I've never had Noi give me this, but you know what I mean. I'm
Yeah,
exaggerating for the purpose of the pod. But
yeah,
start with a hi. How are you? My name's this. I would love to get into this.
yeah. That's you just did that sound. You know, when back in the day there was that Hi, my name is. Do you remember that reel? I did that trend. It was hilarious. This is way back in like 2021. And it was like, what happened to that?
Yeah.
Do you remember? If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, there was a trending sound years ago that was like, it just came on like, hi, how are you? My name is. What happened to that?
Yes.
And everyone in the industry was doing lots of reels about it and
Yeah.
going, yeah, please don't come into my DMs asking just what's the price and all of this.
Yeah.
So I think it's the other end of that, isn't it?
Yeah. Have you seen the other ones recently where it's like if if my DMs were real life? And I saw one
Yes.
there, yeah, where someone like walks into a salon and goes, "How much for gel toes?" And then someone says, "Oh, hi, it's £30," and then they just turn and walk away and you never hear from them again. Like, no, thanks for that, or
Yeah, yeah.
just for letting me know. Like, it's so true. I think, just be nice.
I love it. Honestly, thank you so much. And I think as well, it's like I saw something the other day about when people ask people for info in the industry. You know, like say you do something on your stories, and I'm like, oh, Shan, like, what did you do there? And people forget that they just don't. They shouldn't have that like direct, instant access to people. And it's so if I think if people are getting a lot of that as well, they just remember that you don't have to always respond to somebody that hasn't added on the generic niceties that actually we should be doing. Yeah.
Definitely,
Oh,
definitely.
I love this so much. Before we finish, I always ask people at the end of interviews just to brighten up our listeners' day, just in case they're like feeling a little bit, down or low or having one of those stressful days. Are there any funny stories that you can tell us or something that stayed with you from your career, whether it be about brands or whether it be about anything, just to end on a light note?
I can tell you one from the other month. I literally shared this the other day. I was speaking to Linz about it as well.
Yeah.
So on the subject of content, Joe Van's got really cool techie stuff,
Mm.
which is great. And sometimes, if I'm lucky, I get to borrow it. So I'd said to him, "Can I please borrow this light?" And it's like a daylight light, but the bulb's like actually spiral. It's twisted and it's super bright. It's
Wow.
incredible. He was like, "Yeah." So I was creating some content for a brand. You may have seen the reel. It's about 30 seconds. It looks very calm, very tranquil. It wasn't. So I've done like the first swatch color. I was like dreamy. I was so excited about these colors as well. They were right up my street. The sun's shining, everything's good, everything's aligning for me. The universe is on my side. I'm literally done the first swatch, gorgeous, done the little twinkly shot in the light. Cool, taking that off, ready for the next one. The R&B tunes are booming. I'm in my element. I'm living my best life. Second color, gorgeous. J-Man's downstairs, his brother's come round, Kingsley's down there as well. And I've got onto the third swatch, the last one. And as I've stood up, I've obviously somehow managed to twist my leg around the cable of
The
Joe Van's
lead.
the lead that's attached to the wall. And as I've stood up, his light has just come smashing to the floor, smashed onto the headboard of the bed. Because, like I said, I do it in the bedroom sometimes. So the light's like just beautiful. So I'm in there barefoot. The light, his very expensive, beautiful twisty light that he's really kindly let me borrow, has smashed into a trillion pieces over the bedspread, over the pillows, over the floor. I'm literally like trapped now, just in this sea of glass, with my bare feet. I shout something that rhymes with duck. Kingsley proceeds to tell me off. I shout, "I'm so sorry" to Jovan. "I'm so sorry to you too, Kingsley." Jovan comes upstairs and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, clearly making a mess. He has to bring me shoes because I cannot literally move from where I am. And it took me longer to clean up all them teeny tiny bits of glass than it actually did to actually sit and work. I was there for hours because I was then paranoid that like someone's going to get in the bed and there's glass in
Yeah.
the bed.
Oh
Oh
my
my God, oh
goodness.
my God. So I actually filmed the last shot on my tiptoes in some Crocs by the window, like just getting that last shot of that last little thing, and then went and tidied it all up. So if you saw the reel, it would just look like three beautiful colors, really nice, and you would never know that that last shot was recorded on my tiptoes, surrounded by a sea of glass.
You win the award for best story. That was so good. I can imagine Jovan's face as well, being like, "Oh my gosh, Chantel, what have you done?
I was like, "I'm so sorry. You're never
What
gonna
are
let
you
me
doing,
do this
wife?
again."
What is this?" Oh my God, honestly. And Kingsley, like, "Mummy, that's a pound in the swear jar, please, young
Yes, he was
lady."
like, "What did you say?" I was like, "I know. I'm really sorry." But I'm really sorry. I have no other thing. So yeah, that was, and a nice little reminder that not everything you see on social media is real life.
Exactly that. And it's dangerous out here, guys. My gosh, right. What a crazy time to be alive. Thank you so much for sharing that, honestly. And thank you for joining me. Is there anything else that you want to talk about that's going on right now? I know you've got your event coming up in the new year, so that's coming up soon, although it's sold out pretty much, isn't it?
Yes, it's sold
Yeah.
out. So that was
Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
no, I'm just grateful for you having me on, really. Thank you
Oh.
so much. And I think it's a really exciting time of the industry where I know I've said this before, I hate the term, you just do nails or you're just a nail tech.
Mm.
Now is even more time than ever to prove that that is not it. You can get into UGC, you can get into content creation, you can utilize your platform online, you can get into education, you can be a nail tech, you could have staff, you could work from home, you can have a cabin. So just to anyone listening, whatever your dream is for 2026, just go and do it. Like if there's people out there doing it, it's proof that it's possible, and just do it.
Oh, thank you so much. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me, and for everybody listening, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.